Hello guys, and thanks for tuning in to another Jensen Media video. Today I'm going to go ahead and review a game that is a classic game for me, but it has a brand new spanking port on a mobile device now, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into it and just see how good it is. Like I've said, I've been having fun with a classic game that I used to love playing and I haven't played it in so long. God, I feel old for saying it, but I just can't believe a PlayStation game is now a classic. Anyways, I just rediscovered Castlevania Symphony of the Night as it popped up on my phone's app store. I had absolutely no knowledge that this game was being re-released for the mobile phone. It completely came at a surprise for me and it just randomly showed up on the store. I was like, what the hell? This has to be some sort of horrible knockoff version that's poorly emulated. There's no way it could be real. But it's actually from the real developer. It's actually from Konami. So I was more excited right off the bat when I knew that. This game is the real deal, so of course I instantly got it. Now before I get into it, I didn't have high hopes going into this, even with it being from Konami. I have always believed that Castlevania game needs a controller, that you definitely have to have a controller, because you need that precision, because sometimes you just need to be the right distance away from something when you're jumping, and if you're not perfect at it, it can kill you. Also, I didn't know how it was going to run on the phone, and I expected it to chug along sluggishly as a port on my phone would. To my surprise, I loaded up the game and it changed my mind for the most part. Symphony of the Night is a very smooth experience for me on my phone. No issues at all with how it ran. I also had less issues with the touchscreen controls than I thought I would. That's not to say there isn't any problems. I can't count how many times I thought I hit the attack button, but it actually didn't do anything. It actually didn't register me as actually hitting the button. So that was a little bit of a problem. Not so much with smaller enemies, but when I'm taking on the big bosses, it was an issue, and it got me killed quite a few times. This can be, however, easily fixed because the game does support gamepad controls. So if you have one that you can hook up to Bluetooth, I highly recommend it. The game is an absolute joy with a controller, but the touchscreen controls are not too bad. They can work. I did beat the game with touchscreen controls. Also, the game is a very stable experience, absolutely no crashes at all. I didn't really see any frame drops at all either. The whole time there was absolutely no compromise. Everything was perfect. Everything was intact as I remembered it, and it even has spoken dialogue, which is awesome. A lot of surprises from a mobile port that I just was not expecting to have here. The most awesome part of this is there's absolutely no microtransactions. None. Which these days, with Nintendo gouging their mobile fans, wanting pretty much their souls in almost every mobile game they have on the market, there are no ads or anything like that from this game. Once you load up the game, you are getting the game. Nothing else. No ads, you'll never be able to tell it's a mobile game from that point on besides the touchscreen controls. There's nothing absolutely leading me to believe that it would be a mobile game at all. The best part is, what would you think you could spend on this game? What would be a reasonable price? I could easily see this game going for 10 bucks, and that would be a pretty decent price. But no, this game is actually only $3 on the App Store. That is an absolute steal for this game, because you'll spend so much time, so many hours just playing the game, and you're just getting so much out of it. Another great thing about the game is the continue button. If you die, instead of reloading a save that may set you back 20 or so minutes, you can just hit the continue button and bam, you're right back at the beginning of the room where you just died. But also note, you will have the same health that you did have at the beginning of this room. So if you only had 5 or so HP and you had a long way to get back to a save point with a lot of really tough baddies in the way, it might get you into some funky jams along the way. There were plenty of times where I did try to power through it with 1 HP because I did not want to have to reload a save from like a half hour ago. It is doable, you just have to be extremely careful and precise. The game even has Google Play achievements to help you feel that sense of accomplishment even more, and offers something more to try during the course of the game, and even replayability is there because of it, and it may take you quite a few times if you want to get all the achievements. Overall, the experience is a pretty awesome one, and it hits mostly with all the right punches. However, there are some drawbacks. Like I mentioned, the controls for the touchscreen are not the greatest. Even though it does support the gamepad option, not everyone has a mobile gamepad. It would have been nice to be able to adjust the sizes or placements of the touchscreen controls, perhaps maybe fine tune it a little bit, but there doesn't seem to be any kind of options at all for that. Here's hoping they will update it and add it on later. Also, speaking of on-screen controls, they get in the way of the screen way too much for me. It would have been nice to have a sliding option in the menu somewhere to minimize the controls just a little bit. Maybe even make them more transparent. I feel like they just dropped the ball on the menus a little bit here. There's not a lot of mobile options. There's also apparently an issue with the game having some weird frame rate issues with phones that have a high refresh rate display. My phone doesn't have this feature, so I couldn't really tell you about the issue firsthand, but I did my research and apparently it is an issue with refresh rate displays. I will take note that the developers do know that it is an issue and they have stated so maybe they'll fix it. I'm just letting you know, guys. The last issue I have is if I wanted to load a game on a different device, I could not do it. There is no option for cloud saving, just good old-fashioned saving on your device, which is a little bit of a letdown. It doesn't kill the full experience for me, but if I ever decide to switch up phones, I don't have those saves. I still think it's a terrific port, and it's hands down one of my favorite Castlevania games, if not my most. I had an absolute blast playing it on my phone, and once again, you have all those features here. You can pretty much unlock all the same stuff without any sort of microtransactions, which is just blowing my mind for everything you get for $3. I wish more developers would take note of this kind of stuff, because this is how mobile gaming should be done, especially with ports. Overall, the game gets a 9 out of 10 for me. You are getting quite a lot of bang for your $3 here, and there's absolutely no microtransactions like I've said before. You're getting the full Castlevania experience, no compromises or pulling the punches at all whatsoever. Just note, you do have some issues with high refresh rate displays, and the touchscreen controls could be more better. You may get a few cheap deaths here and there if you're not using a gamepad. I do say you should pick this up for $3. If you're a fan of the Symphony of the Night or a Castlevania fan, even those who are just looking for a new game to play on mobile, I recommend this highly. You cannot go wrong here. You're getting hours upon hours of fun, and it's just an awesome game. And if you've never experienced this sort of game before, you really need to. It's really awesome. So that's it, guys. That's really my review here. Let me know your thoughts below, and if you have any fond memories of playing this game. I always like to get in a discussion with you guys. And that's it, guys. So thanks for watching the video, and you guys have a nice rest of your day.